What's up? What's going on? What's good? Here we are. This is May 23rd, 2021, and this is the Boxing Source Radio Show. I am your host, James Bell, the leader of the Boxing Source. Of course, you can follow us on social media. We're available on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And of course, you have the YouTube channel where we talk about various topics and, have our takes on what goes on over the course of the week. But this week, we have a lot on our plate, And we got a very, very busy podcast here today. We're going to be talking about, of course, what happened yesterday over in Las Vegas. We're going to have a special guest here scheduled to come on with us. And also, we will kind of look ahead to what is going on over the summer. As, of course, we've had big news that took place over the course of, I would say the last 2 days, so to speak. So we're going to get into all of that here, but wanted to start out, of course, with a great fight that took place over in Virgin Hotels, Las Vegas, formerly the Hard Rock Hotel in Las Vegas. You had the undisputed super lightweight championship fight. Jose Ramirez versus Josh Taylor. Both of these guys came in there with the undefeated record. Both of these guys came in there with 2 belts. You had Jose Ramirez coming in there 26-0. Josh Taylor coming in there 17-0. And, it was something where, leading into the fight, it was looking like it could have been 50-50 as to who would win. But, we saw the odds going into this particular fight. They did lean towards Josh Taylor with favorite to win the fight. But going into this bout, man, we had to see who would be able to establish their overall game plan in this bout. And, starting off with the first round, you kind of like seeing both of these guys trying to feel out each other, and you saw the difference in overall hand speed as Josh Taylor was, pretty much snapping with the jab more, while Jose Ramirez was trying to time Josh Taylor there in the first round. And you really didn't see that much activity from Jose Ramirez. Leading into the bout, his activity would be key for him to, have much of a chance here to be successful against Josh Taylor. But he was able to pick it up in the second round, was very successful in, getting to Josh Taylor, getting on the inside, working the body, getting Josh Taylor to the ropes. Josh Taylor didn't really have much of an answer in that second round. And it looked like there were a couple of times where it seemed like Josh Taylor was in trouble. And Jose Ramirez had a lot of momentum there in the second round. He was able to, carry it off there into the third round. Josh Taylor had to, figure out what else he could do here to stop what, Jose Ramirez was doing off of those 2 rounds, the second and the third round. It looked like he had a lot of momentum, a lot of confidence going into the fourth round. But I think, you had Josh Taylor pretty much getting his bearings back as far as like focusing on what he wanted to do here in this particular fight. And, he had a better jab, so he was able to utilize it and use the distance when he was able to. If there was like anything where he looked like he could be in a little bit of issue, he was able to know how to tie up Jose Ramirez and also fight a little bit more well on the inside. So he was able to get that going. And once he was able to do that, then he kind of like got the timing of Jose Ramirez, over the course of, the fourth and the fifth round. And so once the sixth round started, he came out towards, Jose Ramirez, was able to engage a little bit. And then he, backed up to a corner to set up Jose Ramirez. And when he was able to get within range and Ramirez had the momentum coming forward and threw a punch, then you saw Josh Taylor with that counter left hook. And it was a short left hook. And it was just enough to, catch Jose Ramirez, and the momentum of Ramirez just had him going forward. And he went down, on one knee to the canvas there for that first knockdown that took place in the fight. And so, after that, you kind of like saw that Josh Taylor was trying to, work himself to get him a much better advantage. He wanted to finish Jose Ramirez, as, he was saying that, hey, I'm going in here and I'm going to stop Jose Ramirez. He said that he was going to knock out Jose Ramirez. And it looked like he was going to try to do that there in the sixth round. But at the same token, you saw the overall resolve of Jose Ramirez, as Ramirez was able to get himself back into a gear there in that sixth round, and was able to catch Josh Taylor with a good combination to get himself back into the fight. But after that, you saw that what happened in the seventh round, and the seventh round is what has a lot of people talking about, the the dealings of the referee that oversaw this bout, Kenny Bayless, as in a clinch. Kenny Bayless looked like he was going to break up the clinch. He kind of put his hand in and then, let his hand out. And right when he let his hand out, you saw Josh Taylor break away from Jose Ramirez. And then when he broke away from Jose Ramirez, he got that opening to throw the left uppercut, bam, and connect right on the chin to put Jose Ramirez down once again there in the seventh round. And I thought that would have been the one that kind of like would have set the tone as to, Josh Taylor being able to overwhelm Jose Ramirez. But Jose Ramirez was definitely game over the course of this fight. He was able to get back into it. I felt like there were a couple of rounds where Josh Taylor kind of let his foot off the gas, kind of like allow Ramirez to get back into it. Even though Ramirez didn't necessarily have, everything behind him in the punches that he was throwing, it looked like it was a little bit slower, not that much power behind those punches, but he was still coming forward, still game, still, catching Josh Taylor a couple of times there with power shots and with the jab. But Josh Taylor just kind of like got, himself back into focus, went back in with the right jab, him being a southpaw, and was able to, just halt any type of momentum that Jose Ramirez would have been able to have over the course of this fight. So, it was able to get through those 12 rounds. And, I just felt like, the thing was that Josh Taylor felt like, I think in the 12th round, that he was able to, put everything in the books, like he had everything locked up. So once he got through that 12th round, he kind of like felt like he won, and won fairly easily. But it went to the scorecards, and you had all three scorecards with the things of 114 to 112, 114 to 112, all for Josh Taylor. And so Josh Taylor is the undisputed super lightweight champion there. So with those scores of the 114, 112, that means the knockdown in the sixth and the knockdown in the seventh round pretty much was the difference. 6 rounds to 6, on these scorecards. And, with that being said, you just have those 2 10-8 rounds, and that's what, had it in the advantage of Josh Taylor. And I think that, he had himself a fairly impressive performance over the course of the fight. He was able to do, very well there. And, outside of, those first few rounds where he, kind of like had Jose Ramirez get himself into the fight. I thought that he would kind of like establish his overall boxing skill and, get the better of Jose Ramirez over the course of the bout. I think, after he, caught Jose Ramirez with that knockdown in the 6th round, he looked like he was able to time Ramirez coming in. And, for those that were, watching the fight, you kind of like seen Josh Taylor, try to focus more on hitting Jose Ramirez with the counter shot. And you've seen it with the left uppercut. He was trying to catch him with the left uppercut, whether it was to the body or up to his head, that he was trying to perfectly time Jose Ramirez with that left uppercut. But he was able to connect there in the 7th round, after that whole thing with the clinch. So now you have Josh Taylor there, undisputed super lightweight champion there. And he was able to, just do that there within the course of 18 professional fights. And you look at, his overall run that he's had there while at super lightweight. I mean, you got his wins over Victor Postol, Ryan Martin, Ivan Baranchyk, Regis Prograis, Appen Kong Song, and Jose Carlos Ramirez. And, Top Rank had posted the, the stat there. What was that, like 139 wins to 1 loss for those previous fights that Josh Taylor had, and he was able to defeat all of those guys, So that is a definite great one that Josh Taylor has had up to this particular point at 140 pounds. And there still could be more that he could do at 140 pounds. They were talking about him potentially having a mandatory defense of one of those belts next against Catterall. But you could still have a whole lot of fights that could take place within 140 pounds. And, you got, potential rematch versus Regis Prograis. You could have somebody like Teofimo Lopez who could move up from 135 to 140 to, fight Josh Taylor. Maybe some type of, thing where they could have some super fights there at 140 pounds with the likes of maybe Gervonta Tank Davis if he's successful in his fight that he has coming up against Mario Barrios over in Atlanta. So there's a lot of possibilities out there with Josh Taylor here in this particular instance, as he was able to, like I said, get himself that impressive win over Jose Ramirez. And, it's pretty much almost like the sky's the limit for Josh Taylor at this particular point. A lot of, momentum on his side, going into, what's going on. And, now it feels like he could kind of like say that he's among one of the better fighters in the sport of boxing right now. I mean, you go over the resume that I just stated. I mean, you can't really see that many other people within the sport of boxing that has had that type of run, but, with him, he was able to do that. And, now you got him, I'd say, as one of those fighters that could have that debate as not just within the top 10 of pound for pound list, but maybe within top 5. We'll kind of like go into that here a little bit later, as far as like where he is as far as like the pound for pound list. But I mean, you talk about the resume that he has. I mean, what else could you say about it? He, just look. I just felt like he looked very well over the course of this particular bout. It wasn't like something where he was in too much trouble. He got caught like a couple of times, therefore, against, Jose Ramirez, but nothing to where, Ramirez was able to get the overall momentum to get back into this particular bout. So, I think that, he kind of like says that he is one of those guys that really, is among those top fighters. In our previous conversation that we had with him leading into this fight, like he shows that he, wanted to leave himself a legacy there within the 140-pound division. And, we kind of like talked about Ken Buchanan, who was the first undisputed champion there from Scotland. And, he talked about the legacy that Ken Buchanan had, but also, what he's able to do here, at 140 pounds, So, I mean, he said that, he trained his whole life for, getting himself prepared for the bout against Jose Ramirez. And, now he's there as an undisputed champion. I wanted to add in real quick, one of our guests on here, the president of the Deontay Wilder fan club, Mr. Matthew Brown, checking in from MVO. What's up?
Bomb Squad! You get one of those every week until July 24th.
I knew it. Oh, my God.
We back, baby.
We back. Oh, no.
We back. We back.
Oh, no.
We back. I can't wait. Oh, man. Oh, man.
Oh, Lord, man. We'll get into that here a little bit, man. Oh, yeah. Yesterday, man, Taylor kind of like showed that he had a little bit more skill than Jose Ramirez, and I didn't really see much about adjustments from Jose Ramirez over the course of his bout, man.
More skill? I'm not too sure about that. I just think that Taylor had more veteran tactics. I think Jose Ramirez, he fought like how I hate the way those Eastern European fighters fight. Everything has to be clean or perfect. Taylor, he wasn't afraid to muck it up, use the veteran tactics, hit while holding. You saw on the break in the 7th round, he hit him with that Marge Simpson uppercut to the moon. That nearly sent Ramirez to hell. Taylor fought like how American fighters usually fight, and Jose Ramirez fought like an Eastern European.
Well, I mean, didn't they have like, a couple of instances where you had Kenny Bayless warning Josh Taylor about having his head low and dipping down and everything like that?
Yeah, it was very interesting. I thought Josh Taylor showed a lot yesterday. Who knows how the fight would have turned out if it wasn't for that uppercut? But at the end of the day, you can't get hit with that punch if you're Jose Ramirez. You just can't.
Yeah, you got to have your hands up at all times. I mean, you seen what happened with, those couple of instances with Floyd Mayweather. He had the thing with, Arturo Gatti. Arturo Gatti got hit with a BIM, and then the whole thing with, Mayweather and Victor Ortiz, where he hugged it up and he said, gave him that 2-piece special, bucka.
Yep.
And that was it for him. So you got to always have your hands up.
Same thing happened to Deontay Wilder in that 3rd round in the second Fury fight. And he got hit with that hook in the back of the head. And it was all she wrote after that. Same referee, by the way. I just wanted to point that out.
Hey, listen. If we have to see something like Jose Ramirez come up with the video talking about what Taylor did to him,
yep,
and saying that Bayless is a crab in the bucket referee, I'm gonna go off.
Yep, he could have Despacito playing in the background. Yep.
Does this mean that he'll be playing on the piano too?
Hey, maybe. Hey, if he gets he's not getting a rematch.
Yeah, he's not.
Yeah, it's over. One thing we know about the British, they love to take their victories and run.
Hey, hold on, but this is undisputed though, so you can't have no rematches with undisputed.
Hey, listen. Hopkins and Taylor had a rematch.
Well, they did, but how controversial was that?
I thought Hopkins won.
I did too. The only person that thought Taylor won was Lou DiBella.
Yeah, and the judges apparently.
Yeah, the judges.
Yeah. But it was a good fight last night. You know, it really was. High stakes. I loved Jose Ramirez's game plan, but he just went away from it after he got hit. And you just, like Mike Tyson says, everybody got a plan until they get punched in the mouth. After that first knockdown, it seems like Taylor went away from his game plan. He should have kept digging to the body because I thought he was hurting. Mm-hmm. I thought he was hurting Taylor to the body, but Ramirez went away from it, and hey, he lost. It was a close fight, you know, but he lost. And at the end of the day, he got to live with himself. He's gonna think about all the things he should have did. He did say that he has to learn to fight dirty because apparently that's what he felt Taylor was doing yesterday. I thought that was interesting that he said that because usually Ramirez don't say things like that, but when you take that first L and you feel like things aren't fully on the up and up, you never know how someone's going to react, Thief. You never know.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Now, one of the other things coming after this particular fight goes into the trainer of Josh Taylor, who, you know, he just had it a couple of fights ago. Chris Jericho. Ben Davison.
You just made the list.
You just made the list. And now it seems like, you know, more people are gonna try to give him some more props in this particular instance.
No.
But I'm not too certain about that because I mean, if you saw, you know, Josh Taylor over his previous fights before, you know, before Ben Davison was on, then you seen that Josh Taylor had that, you know, either the skill or the grit to get through those high profile fights that he got through. You know, the likes of Ivan Baranchyk, the Regis Prograis, you know, against Victor Postol. So if he was able to get through all of that, you know, before Ben Davison, then, you know, how much is it that he could have credit for this particular win? Because it's almost like, oh man, he might have had another masterpiece here.
Yeah, but not only that, I thought Taylor kind of faded late. So we've seen Ben Davison on the biggest stage. His fight is faded late. Same thing happened to Fury in the first Wilder fight. He faded late. You know, so it's like, is this guy a great trainer? Is he not making adjustments during the fight, or are we being too hard on him? Because obviously no one's going to win every single round.
Yeah, because I mean, it looked like what it was around like the 9th and the 10th round that Taylor was kind of, you know, taking it easy or taking those rounds off, you know, to get himself back in, you know, back into it when it came to win. So with him not, you know, being able to try to push himself to finish Jose Ramirez, then, you know, that could be a factor for Josh Taylor, you know, later on down the line.
Is Davison the lead trainer for Devin Haney now, or is he just helping out?
I think he is the lead trainer because, you know, Devin Haney was talking about, you know, Ben Davison being the new guy on the team and everything like that. So that's another thing because come next week, you know, he'll be back on the spotlight, you know, once again. So You'll see Ben Davison there with Devin Haney against Jorge Linares. So that's going to be interesting. Now on the live chat, shout out to those on the live chat. Someone said like they're honestly not sure how much of it was fading or as compared to playing it safe. I don't know.
Could be.
But
I don't see why he would be playing it safe when you couldn't definitively say that he won those early rounds. A few of those early rounds could have and might have should have went to Ramirez. So I don't see why he would play it safe just because he got a knockdown in the 6th and the 7th.
Right. I mean, even though the scores ended up being identical after 12 rounds, I mean, it was as far as like back and forth as far as like who was winning those rounds in the first half of the fight. One judge had like 3, those first about 3 of the first 4 rounds going to Ramirez.
I did also. I thought Ramirez definitely won rounds 2, 3, and 4, and you could make an argument for him winning round 1.
Yeah. So so that was the thing, man. I think that he had to do something in order to push himself to say, okay, I'm definitively the guy that's taking the lead in this particular bout. Like in comparison to say the Lopez Lomachenko fight where Teofimo Lopez went into that 12 round and said, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to definitively say that I'm the guy that has the better part of the round. So
nearly got him out of there.
Yep, basically. So I didn't see where Josh Taylor could do something like that, and he didn't really do that, so to speak. But
now, what do you think is next for both guys?
For Taylor, he'll probably be scheduled to have that mandatory defense of one of those belts. You have Catterall that's there waiting in line. So he's probably going to go ahead and get that out of the way there for that WBO mandatory. For Jose Ramirez, that's going to be interesting to see what happens there with him, because I don't think that they're going to have him in another matchup with Zepeda, who had a snooze fest of a fight straight up against
but whatever.
Yeah, it looked like he was losing, man. But I don't know, man. It'll be interesting to see what happens with Ramirez, man, because I don't see like how they're going to market him. I mean, he's a guy that they try to have as people that kind of like bring fans to the arena, but he's had a whole lot of those fights over at Fresno. So he has those sellouts in Fresno, and he's already fought Zepeda, so maybe man, they have to I guess find somebody. Maybe they could get Baranchik, who knows.
Baranchik might send him to hell.
Yeah, Baranchik don't really care. That could be a shot. But Baranchik could be, one of the guys that they could just have there for him. So outside of that, I really don't know.
Should be very interesting to see what's next for Jose Ramirez. I don't think he should move up. If he's not having any trouble making weight, he should probably stay out of 147. Because with that suspect chin, I don't think you really want to try it with guys that hit a lot harder in the higher weight division. Maybe he could fight Hank Lundy.
Hank Lundy, because Hank Lundy said on his Twitter a few minutes ago that he said he'll be back in action in July. So.
Oh wow.
He said he's on his Clubber Lang tip or something, man. I don't know what he said on Twitter, man. But hey, He says that he'd be right back at it in July. Then, hey, who knows? Man,
Well, he
hey,
earned it.
it would be crazy. He better not be part of that Wilder Fury card. He better not.
Oh my God. I hope not.
Oh my goodness, Joe. That would be crazy, man. But the thing with Josh Chandler, like you had like a lot of things going on there with that. But um, we're gonna touch on that here in a little bit because here we are in the 30-minute segment, and we got our special guest here checking in live from Las Vegas, Nevada, with a record of 19 wins, 1 loss, and 1 draw with 13 knockouts. He has a big fight coming up. WBA heavyweight title eliminator bout against Mike Wilson. Yep, he is the bounty hunter. He's here. He's live. What's up? Michael Hunter in the building.
What's up?
Let's
What's
go.
going on?
Let's go. What's good, man? What's good?
Clap it up, clap it up, clap it up.
Oh man, we're very thankful to have you on here with us here on the Boxing Source, man. Thankful for you to join us, man. You're going to be part of that card on Triller June 19th, going up against Mike Wilson. So just going to that here, man. It's going to be a 10-round or 12-round bout.
I think it's a scheduled 10-round.
Gotcha. So you're gonna be in there against Mike Wilson. He's like 21-1. But I know you're definitely ready for him because you've had experience with a lot of guys that have been pretty much former champions and everything like that. So I know you're ready to go.
Yeah, and I've had a good time of training. I've been training since pretty much January. I've been ready. I've been kind of pushing the envelope. I had a little rough patch even when I was with DAZN as far as my physical health. Dealing with certain injuries from previous from the past, and these things are finally subsiding, and I'm getting in better shape than ever.
Yeah, you're out there in Las Vegas, so you've been having a camp there in that area. So how's it been like in camp since January? Like who have you been like working with a few people there as far as like sparring and things like that?
Yeah, I've been working with a couple of young guys coming up. Jeremiah Milton. I've worked with Tyson Fury the last couple weeks ago. Yeah, I've been working with Johnny Rice. I worked with a few guys over the last few months.
Yeah, gotcha. Yeah, I know. Yeah, with Vegas, you definitely have a good amount of fighters that'll come to Vegas that you can work with, or you can go over to their gym and work with. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
But just going into this thing here, with Mike Wilson, like you said, you had those issues as far as like injuries and health concerns. So like, how have you been feeling since like getting back into camp in January?
Oh man, like I said, January was kind of like a start, so it was a little rough back then. But I had some a stem cell treatment for my shoulder. I've had I've had a little do a little rehab, for certain for my body this period. From the constant, being overseas and being on the road, taking these short notice fights and stuff. Now, like I said, it's been a long road, but I'm feeling healthy, man. I'm very excited about this next new little chapter for me. And I don't know what's going to be in store, but I'm going to be ready.
Now, Mike, why the WBA title eliminator as opposed to fighting Philip Ergovich for the IBF title eliminator?
Hey, could you? My bad. It was very easy. It was Triller. Triller gave me a deal that I would never turn down. So that's where it was at. I originally, I'm the one that started the IBF situation. I was IBF with Charles Martin, um, and I was the IBF with, then they passed it down to Philip Hergovich. I was the one pressing for that fight, and they're the ones that prolonged the whole situation, took it to first bid, and then had the extensions, and then talked Triller out of even bidding at all. Eddie talked Triller out of bidding when they found out I had a bidder and a strong bidder. They went in and did their work, and they got what they deserved. I feel like they didn't really want the fight to happen. They just wanted it to be on their terms. So I wasn't really that was where the fight was at for me. You know what I'm saying? So
Now, are you at all worried about the fan and media reaction to you pulling out of the Ergovich fight, because you have always been portrayed as a guy that nobody wants to fight in the heavyweight division, but when you're knocking on the doorstep of a title shot, all of a sudden you pull out. Are you concerned with the reaction to you pulling out of that particular fight?
nah. This is the part of the turbulence in boxing. Once you guys start seeing me perform, and them right fights come with them right numbers, and this is a prize fight. You know what I'm saying? We're here to win the prize. So, if they wanted to fight and they wanted to put the money up, they would have. For them to do what they did was very sketchy on their part, and the chips fell where they fell. So when you guys start seeing me perform and start being active, that's the most thing I think is I'm looking for consistency, and Triller is definitely giving me that. So right now for the fans, they're gonna just kind of see me show up and show out on the show on the Triller shows.
Hey, you're not worried about Triller not paying you, right? I heard Roy Jones is saying that they ain't really pay him. You sure your check going clear with Triller?
Well, we'll see June 19th.
Hey, all I know is we'll find out, or else you might either you'll step in the ring and walk out before the bell sounds,
Like Curtis
or you won't even walk down the aisle.
Y'all know. But no, I think they paying a lot of money to a lot of YouTubers, so I'm pretty sure they all getting their money. Regis Prograde just got a good little payday out of over there. So, I ain't hear Regis complaining about nothing yet. So, I think that everything is going to be good. I think that, also Jake Paul just moving. That means a big budget is just opened up over there. So, and I know they're going to be there to invest in. They're trying to invest in fights and in fighters to make more, more traditional boxers, so they can balance out the stigma and everybody saying certain things. I think that they're really going to be pushing for, they're starting to build, put, the boxing heads. You got Peter Khan, as the head of the boxing situation. So I think that, they're going to have a good stable and a good head, and they're going to be throwing some good fights soon. Well, they're doing it now, so.
Yeah, I mean they might be making some moves to make deals with a couple of promotional banners and things like that. So that just shows like they're trying to get more into the sport of boxing, and having you involved there, of course, part of this card that was headlined by Teofimo Lopez and George Kambosos. Then that they're trying to be more serious in the sport of boxing now. I mean. We had I think it's a question in the chat here. Shout out to Intangible Boxing News. He asked if you had any ties or have any ties with Al Heyman.
I mean, I was with them originally. So I mean, boxing industry is not big. So I mean, I can make a call, but they're not somebody that I pick up and talk to. They're not my first people I call right now. So I think maybe when it's all over, maybe we will end up getting something done. But they got a lot of fighters, a lot of big fights, a lot of great fighters on that side. So that was kind of the situation with me and them in the first place. That I was kind of overseen and overlooked by the by them having a great stable. So
hmm Now, see if I could get one other guest in here before I continue with questions. I think we got brother MG here checking in. You got something for Michael Hunter here, real quick?
I'll let you ask your questions, JR. I'll have a question in a little bit.
All right, gotcha. Now, Michael Hunter, you were talking about your overall activity and things like that. Now, in 2019, you had like a few big fights there that you were involved in. One was over here in the DC area against Fabio Maldonado. Then you had the thing in the MSG Theater against Sergey Kuzmin, and then there in Saudi Arabia against Alexander Povetkin, man. And that Povetkin fight, it was like, you were in there in those first couple rounds, you blitzed Povetkin, had him hurt, had him in trouble and things like that. But for some reason, like they ended up having that being a split draw. And going off of that particular fight, we saw what happened in 2020 with Alexander Povetkin. Like, how did you view that particular fight, the results of that fight, in the ramifications of it?
well, I just kind of even the moment they said the first score, I already said if you can even go back and play it. I said it was a draw in the middle of the ring. I knew that they were playing the draw as soon as that first score came out. But this is the business. It's a lot of different. It's not a fair game. Everybody thinks it's fair, but you have to play with your cards. You know what I'm saying? If you know that they'll rob you, then or they'll act funny on certain situations, then that's what you're going up against, and that's what I knew I was going up against. Um, and I wasn't mad about it. I knew that I had to go above and beyond. I was betting me to knock him out anyway. So the fact that he survived and I let him slide, uh, that it is what it is. He was able to fight, Povetkin. I mean, Dillian White, knock him out. Have the rematch, get knocked out. So that was all. That whole little saga was because I let him live. So
Now,
um,
dealing with the aftermath of that fight, why did Povetkin get the Dillian White fight instead of you?
well, because it's a business, just like how Sergey Kuzmin, all of them, I was supposed to be fighting all of them when I fought Maldonado. They couldn't find a fight for me. Well, actually, Sergey Kuzmin and Povetkin had originally said no to fight me on that date. So they were shuffling around, and then they ended up finding Maldonado. But they were never looking to give me no handouts. And Sergey Kuzmin and Povetkin are basically they're with the same management team, so they had to do a two-fight, deal type of situation to even get me fights. I think that they really realized how hard it was to get uh, somebody like myself a fight, um, and had to do, a situation like that, and who knows what was, said and done and what deals were made under the table. But I know that me being on the zone and uh, the way the tables, the way it was played out, I didn't feel like they was all 100% behind me. So but it's all a business. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's here to make money, and I ain't mad at them. It's just the world we live in.
So I have a couple questions actually. So if you had to fight Povetkin again, is there anything that you would do differently? I mean, obviously the first few rounds you had his number, and as you said, you kind of kind of let him off a little bit. Is there anything you would do differently if you had him in that same position in the first 2-3 rounds?
I think I'll do the same thing. Just press it straight up. Uh, you know, the time was ticking on him. I feel like I took a lot out of him. He really didn't have too much, even when he knocked Dillian White out. But it was just enough as far as the survival, the skills, the veterinary, the vetting him. Was able to get him past that first Dillian White fight. Um, and the COVID, he had caught COVID. And I just think that he was on his last leg, so um, I think that I would press it. I'm a lot more healthier now. I had a torn rotator cuff. I had a lot of different scenarios I was dealing with in that 3-fight saga that we had spoke about earlier with Matchroom. That was the time that, like I said, if they really wanted me to fight Hergovich, which I was asking for at that point, um,
Mm-hmm.
because they couldn't find fights. That's when I asked them even for the Maldonado, um, you know, but they wanted to have their own route. And like I said, it's all a business. It's only good when it's in their advantage. You know what I'm saying? So. Uh, now the fact that I think I made the right move for myself, and they had to I sucked because it went on the fans, and yeah, exactly, I am usually the guy that you know s- you know s- fight anybody, or jump in the fire, but for the first time in my career, I didn't really have to take that route. You know what I'm saying? um, if we all know that this is a boxing business. You know what I'm saying? It's about 80% business, 20% boxing right now, if you look at the landscape. So it was good business on my part and bad business on theirs.
Now, what's your relationship like with Eddie Hearn at the moment, and do you see yourself maybe circling back and working with Hearn again in the future?
Nah, if so, it would just be because I pressed them in a situation just like they were just trying to get me to fight Hergovich. He was trying to do a deal, offer with me, just in case just in case when I was going to spank that butt. Um, they were trying to secure themselves, but there wasn't really a route that I was really wanting to go, because I've been down that road, and I knew the love they had for me. You know what I'm saying? It was strictly business. They're not taking care of me like when I say that. I mean, business is business, but they're not in favor of me like they do in Dillian White. That's why Dillian White got the Povetkin fight instead of fighting Mike Hunter, because that would have really ended his career. You feel me? So these are things that they know. It's all business. They got to make their money, and I'm the guy that's I'm the lone wolf. You know what I'm saying? That can't be controlled. So that doesn't have I don't have no order. You know what I'm saying? So I don't have anybody that can tell me anything about what to do. You know what I'm saying? So, and they're scared of that. My dad was in that same position. Pick up the phone and you call him and you want to fight tomorrow, to a couple weeks. The man said, yeah, too fast. So we're gonna try somebody else. So, um, you know, I was born ready for this. Nobody's scared. It's business. You know what I'm saying? For the first time, like I said, I've been favored. My purse is gonna be bigger than what they whole thing that they bidded for. So it just didn't make sense.
Yeah, but why didn't Triller bid for the fight? Because
You know what? You know what? They were originally bidding for the fight,
okay,
and that's what I'm saying. They didn't see. It wasn't even supposed to go to bid. You're supposed to negotiate. Eddie
Mm-hmm.
Hearn is supposed to call me and negotiate in good faith. Period. Just to see if we can make a deal. They never once negotiated with me until it got to purse bid. Until it was like 2 days. Then they said, "Oh, Michael Hunter's not trying to talk." But it was already in purse bid. I already knew that they were trying to wait till the time, just in case I did say no. Then they could already take the purse bid. I wouldn't have no backing, no none of that. So I knew they moves ahead of time. I already started looking for buyers or people to bid, and Triller was very interested in it, and they end up pulling out at the last minute.
Just real quick there while you attended to. Now I remember you had the thing there with the National Harbor card. You know, hey, be like, hey there. It's like, hey there. Like May 25th, 2019, you had the card there with Fabio Maldonado, and Hergovich was part of that same card.
Every card that I fought in, he fought in. That's what I'm saying. And when they couldn't find me fights and they couldn't find Hergovich fights, they found him real soft opponents, and then they found me what they found me. You feel me?
Yeah, because your next fight you were going up against Sergey Kuzmin, and I'm like, yo, like, what's up?
Exactly. And that time he was undefeated and I was undefeated. You feel me? Somebody's had to go, but they never once really put Hergovich into no real test, no battles. So, and that was the time I was like, well, if you can't find me fights, I'd rather stay active than I didn't have no chance to say yes or no. I had no. They could have got me then. But
yeah. Because
now the fact that I got, I had an opportunity and options. You know what I'm saying? They slipped up. They thought that the fight was worth only what they bid for it, and I felt like I was worth more, and I proved that I was worth 3 times the amount. So, I mean, it was easy for me. You feel me?
Yeah, I feel you. I mean, that's pretty much a similar thing that Teofimo Lopez did. He was like, yo, y'all only gonna pay me this much? But I could go out here and just, have it be on the bid. And you see how he pulled that off. So you're able to do the same thing.
It sucks because the fighters get all the heat for it. But now that we're starting to do good business, chill.
Mm-hmm.
Now that we're starting to do good business in boxing, the boxers are starting to be involved. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got Ryan Garcia with an agency now. You got it's other people type of investors, other people influencing in this situation.
Yep.
So
I have one more
just
question.
think that Top Rank and all these people, they're traditional, they're old school, and it's evolving. If you don't got eyes, I mean, you don't have to have eyes to see that this thing is changing, it's evolving, it's constantly in a different motion. There was not too long ago was Top Rank, Al Heyman, and Golden Boy. Now Golden Boy ain't even around pretty much, and it's what I'm saying. It's a whole nother situation now. So it's constantly moving.
Go ahead, Mike.
So if Eddie Hearn did give you a call and say the Dylan White fight is presented to you, how would you approach that fight?
He one of the dudes I beat up for free. He's one of those guys. So just because and I'll fight him right over in England too. So, but I know that that's not what they're trying to do because they never once ever mentioned Dillian White to me. You feel me? So anybody if you look at who I fought, I never fought not one time nobody in their stable, not a Joseph Parker, not any of those fights. They couldn't get me those fights, and they wasn't going to put energy to try to get me those fights.
Now, why do you think that is?
Just because what I said is I'm that lone wolf type of dude. I'm that guy that is untamable. You feel me? I'm that guy that's I have my own mind. You feel me? I just don't submit. You feel me? You can't just buy me. You feel me? So I just think that's what it is. They want to take. I rather die slow.
Yeah, and I was gonna go back real quick with that thing with Dylan White because I had said the thing about what happened with the fight with Alexander Povetkin and how that turned out, but now this year you had Dylan White with this win over Alexander Povetkin, and now they were talking about maybe we could have Dylan White have a fight over in the U.S. And
right.
Like,
he better watch it. He's gonna have to watch his steps if he comes close. I heard about that too. it's not too many people around here left. You feel me? As a heavyweight, so you know, anytime that he slips up, I'm gonna be there to press his issue. You know what I'm saying? That's basically when they didn't have a fight and a fight fell through. When they almost couldn't find the Povetkin fight, I was the one that said I would fight for free. That's how that started. And sure enough, they said, you know what, we're just gonna push the date back. So, I don't know what it's gonna take for them to get in the ring with me, other than me being in mandatory positions. But you know, this is prize fighting, and we all want prizes here.
Now, you've done basically the boxing car wash. You've been with PBC, Top Red. You've been with Matchroom. Why has Michael Hunter had such a hard time latching on with a promoter long term?
Like I said, I think it's the same situation as I'm that guy that is a thoroughbred. I mean, Floyd Mayweather had the same situation. That as a thoroughbred is a high risk, low rewards type of situation until he got with the right person who didn't really have much of a stable back then when it was just Floyd and Al Heyman, and that was the skyrocket. You feel me? So I think it's very similar. That my dad is a fighter, my brother's a fighter, my uncle's a trainer, my grandpa's was a manager. You know what I'm saying? My family owned boxing gyms. You know what I'm saying? So I think that I'm a high risk, low reward type of in a high risk, low reward type of situation. And up until now, I've had to take whatever they give me. And I did that. But I never submitted, you know what I'm saying, to them overthrowing me when it comes to the business.
Yeah, gotcha. Now, a few years ago, you had a fight against Martin Bacoli where you were able to stop him in 10 rounds. Now, later, like it was, I guess, a couple of years later. So after Bacoli was able to fight Sergey Kuzmin, he said that he was open to a rematch with you. And I was like, well, I don't know much about all that, but I think that kind of goes into the same thing that you were saying as far as like having those fights there under Matchroom. That would have been another fighter that they would have had under Matchroom. You know what I'm
They
saying?
released me and signed somebody I stopped.
Yeah.
I mean,
So
I don't know how it makes sense, but that was exactly that's the easy. And I'm actually grateful that they let me out. I think the way I did the business and the way we did the deal, that I knew on the contract at the end of that deal, it was either going to be they were going to have to embrace me or let me go. And that's kind of way I always have done, deals in business that, I'm willing to work, wherever they put me in, and you know what I'm saying, we can talk about it. I'm willing to work there. I think that, I haven't got the big break just quite yet. You need somebody that's going to be interested in, seeing somebody skyrocket. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I'm holding out for. I'd rather just fight it all the way through.
Now, this opportunity that you have, this WBA title eliminator, the question most fans want to know, including me, is which WBA champion is this eliminator for?
Look, I don't know. I really am here to perform to my best. You feel me? You know, to get into these positions, to be shown by millions of viewers in the show out, and to show that I'm a household name. Other than that's my route. Is everything else is going to fall in place because I'm already done all the fighting. I don't have to prove myself when it comes to fighting. I have to prove myself. I have to get fans. I have to get the people involved. You feel me? So, you know, I'm here to stay busy. One thing that I think my biggest downfall is not being consistent. letting people not keep me not me not being as consistent as I would like to be. And I think that Triller is definitely going to give me the opportunity to do so. So my route is to show that I'm here to stay. I'm not going nowhere. And whenever they fall, I'm going to be still here. So whenever that opportunity comes, please, I'm going to jump on it.
Now, when you say be consistent, does that mean that you are going to fight 3 to 4 times a year? Like, what do you mean by that?
Well, I would like to. I would like to. I know I'm going to have 2 this year. At least I'm gonna try to knock down a third one before the year's up, and which I think is very possible. But yeah, that's been my plan, is to fight 3-4 times a year. Win, lose or draw. I like to. I need to stay consistent. Uh, you know, if you watch even all the fights that I've been in, they all been. The dates have been real spotty. And it's because of the business, not because of me. You know what I'm saying? You don't think, fighters want to step in the ring, so I think that this gave me the opportunity to do so.
Now, I wanted to go back into something. Before your fight against Alexander Povetkin, there was like some buzz about, your preparation for that particular fight, in that you had a couple of sparring battles with Andrew Reese Jr. Before he had his rematch against Anthony Joshua. And they said that, yeah, you were getting it in and you were putting in work there. Do you think like something like that kind of like has people be skeptical of putting you in the ring against, these opponents that are there in the heavyweight division?
Yeah, but the reason I started doing it now, because all these guys know me. They've been knowing who I am for a long time. So they never were going to fight me, and they're not going to fight me. So it's almost like more of a submission that, I will spar you. You know what I'm saying? And if the time is right, if the money's right, I know the only reason they'll fight me is if I'm in, like you said, that Floyd position where they need that money, and I'm that household name. That's the only way they're getting in the ring with somebody like a Michael Hunter. Other than that, it's going to be very hard. They rather just, stay away from me, or use me as a sparring partner. So, me and Andy, I've been sparring. I fought Andy. I sparred Andy. There's nothing changed, and it's that's kind of like, that was like one of my guys. You know what I'm saying? I grew up around, so it was easy scenario. Some of these guys, I just don't think that they'll ever fight me anyway, unless I'm in a position, and it doesn't matter about if they see me or they know me or they see my nature. They not dealing with me no way unless they got to, unless they need the money.
Going back to that Saudi Arabia event, because I actually had someone that wanted to ask about that. The ring walk and the outfit that you wore to the ring against Povetkin in Saudi Arabia, it seemed like you were trying to make, I'm not saying a political statement, but a statement nonetheless. What went into that, and what message were you trying to get across by your ring walk and the outfit that you wore?
Well, I'm always I always come out in some type of form of in a situation like that. I usually try to just pick out the scenario or what I would like to present. I think I'm naturally a people's person, a freedom fighter in a sense. So I think that, if you watch all my other fights, I've always came out to the Charlie Chapman speech. It's a very powerful speech. It's something that I want people to know, and remind, themselves that, what's really going on. You know what I'm saying? This is just for entertainment, but there's a whole world. You know what I'm saying? We all got to live and eat. You know what I'm saying? So, and the costume, I come out. My handle is the bounty hunter,
Mm-hmm.
and the predator is a bounty hunter. And my dad and my brother, we've all come out to different bounty hunter themes, and that was a little spinoff of our old traditional Western duster with the cowboy hat and the scarf, so we just tend to come out with different bounty hunter themes, and that was one that I really wanted to come out to. So
So I mean, so I guess you have something in mind against who they call, what is his nickname? White Delight. I don't know
That's
where that came
that's a
from.
great nickname, by the way. That is a great nickname.
yeah,
White Delight.
he's off. We've been calling him that too for a long time. He's had that nickname for a long time.
Yeah, so I guess you had something special planned for it, the entrance for this particular bout, since it's on Triller. I mean, eyes are gonna be there for this fight, Teofimo Lopez, George Kambosos. So you definitely have this coming up, and you said that you're planning on having at least another fight this year.
Yep. I should have definitely 2 fights on Triller, um, and hopefully a third one uh, before the year's up.
Yeah, I mean, then with this being a WBA heavyweight eliminator match, like I mean, it puts you there amongst the top five in those particular rankings, and you got the likes of Bogdan Dinu there, Charles Martin, who you mentioned, Andy Ruiz. Like, I mean, there's a lot of possibilities out there. I know it better not. I hope it's not. Who is it? Mahmoud Char, who finally came out of inactivity after like 4.5 years against Chris Lovejoy. Uh, oh my God. Man, I can't even go much into that. But, this kind of like puts you in a position to have fights against the likes of those guys that I mentioned before.
Yeah, I think I think the biggest thing for me is to be seen, be consistent. I think if I get 3 beautiful shows and out showings this year, it's gonna scream for Michael Hunter to get some more attention. People are gonna want to see, well, where am I gonna go from here? You know what I'm saying? So I think that the boxing business is just being we're having to go different routes. You know what I'm saying? We can't even deal with the belts and the sanctions that often, unless they just give you the world title shot. So I'm just here to fight, show that show the people that I'm as real as they come, and that it's only a matter of time.
Now, going off that, you saying you're as real as they come. What is one thing about Michael Hunter that people don't know about you that you would want them to know about you?
Well, that's a good one. Shoot, nothing. I don't know. I enjoy. I enjoy where I'm at. I enjoy my position. Uh, that dark horse. You know what I'm saying? This is what I am. This is what I do. I'm willing to fight. You know what I'm saying? All the way through.
Now, what's the deal with you helping out Tyson Fury, man? This is the Deontay Wilder show. Why
Wait,
are you
whoa,
helping
whoa,
out
whoa,
the?
whoa, whoa,
No,
whoa,
I want
whoa,
to
whoa,
ask.
whoa,
I
whoa.
need to
Time
know.
out, time
I
out.
need to know. Why is he helping the enemy? Why is he helping the enemy?
Michael Hunter, yo, yeah, you're that person there is the president of the Deontay Wilder fan club. This is not a
I know
Deontay
that's right.
Wilder show. That person is just the president of the Deontay Wilder fan club, and he feels that you are a turncoat for helping out Tyson Fury.
No, hey, I was sparring him before that fight was announced. And the other one is, like I said, it was more organic. Like I said, I wasn't paying me for sparring. It was more of a, he was in my city. Actually, I started to press him a little bit more and make it a serious situation. But, they were so cool, and they kept everything lighthearted. Everything was cool. and it just turned out to be a fun and game. So I worked with him a little bit. He liked the movement, obviously. He doesn't really get too much of that good boxing experience and movement as a heavyweight. So all those guys are usually the potential opponents. So it was something I just did. That was about it.
Well, when are you gonna make your way down to Alabama to work with the American heavyweight, Deontay Wilder?
Big D, man. I don't know. I think I don't think that's gonna happen.
Oh man.
I mean,
we got to stick together, Mike. Come on,
you know what's funny? I would like to say that, but me and Deontay, we was roommates. You know what I'm saying? He's never once said anything about me or mentioned me or anything. So, it's no bad blood. It's just that he got his own path, and that's kind of how it tends to, when you say your own people, black on black crime, type of situation. But I know he got his own stuff. He done made a lot of money. He's been in a lot of different situations. But they could have put me on a card at any time. You know what I'm saying? When he was with PBC, I was with PBC too. So it's
not too late, Mike.
It's all war, baby.
Come on home, brother. Come on home. Come on home, brother. It's not too late, man. Come on home.
Hey, well tell Deontay, man. I like Malik too. Them really my peoples for real, but
man.
We kind of across the board and all sorts of stuff. I'm trying to get his position, you know what I'm saying? I mean, really, I feel like I'm the number one heavyweight. It's just that I haven't been able to have a shot to prove myself yet.
Oh man.
So did you feel any wrist or egg weights when you were sparring Tyson Fury, or was it legit sparring?
Nah, but I mean, I wouldn't put it past him.
Yes, that's what I'm talking about.
Put it past him.
That's what I'm talking about.
I'm just saying, like, come on, man. Hey, even like when I fought in the Povetkin fight, like, it's just certain things like you just see like, dang, this is different. You feel me?
They take that pattern out, right? They be taking that pattern out their glove. They think they slick.
Something different. And you go watch the tapes, you'll go find it. But it's such a business. There's so much things involved. Some people just let things slide. So I mean, it's easily anything could have been done. They got referees. And judges, people saying, oh, but don't they have officials watching? But they're not with you behind you all day long. When you have this type of experience and you've been around with some people that's been in fights and time again, and usually you the A side, so little things are a little more lenient on you. It's not that hard.
Man, dude, you said a lot right there, Mike.
That's as far as I'm gonna go too.
You said a lot right there. This one might go viral.
Right, I ain't mad at you.
I ain't mad at you. Hey, yeah, my guy had to get that in for you, Michael. Man,
hey, listen, we gonna have to start the Michael Hunter fan club, and I'm nominating myself for president. God damn it! America's back. Listen. I'm all about the American fight scene because the American heavyweight division is so important to the health of the sport. So the
it's
more
been a long
the merrier.
Time. Where it was, where it's at now. Well, we had Latimer. Latimer. It was with Lennox. We ain't had it in a long time.
Yeah, man. You had Lennox, you had Vladimir, you had Vitaly. For all those years.
That's some years that America has been in trouble about this heavyweight division. But I think that it's the promoters. You know what I'm saying? they need to have the passion. The fighters can only do so much because we have the business in front of us. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
If it was like, hey, the number one said the number two, the baddest said he wanted to fight you. We picked and we all discussed the date and blah blah blah, and we met here. And hey, and it was it really should be until somebody quits. You feel me? Or can't go anymore.
You sound like a damn gladiator, man.
Yeah, because you got judges. You know what I'm saying? That's how you take the judges out the way.
Yeah, let's go back to the what is it, the 45 round bouts, first guy.
Yeah, that's right.
Guy that doesn't answer the bell wins.
I don't mind that.
If you don't come out, then it's over.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's how it should be. Not having no crab in the bucket trainer throwing in the towel, okay, when Deontay Wilder is still in the fight. You can't have that.
I don't know. Ooh, I don't know about that one.
Something look weird.
But on that, you that's been a conversation amongst boxing fans, fighters quitting and blah blah blah. What's your take on it? Do you want to go out on
like you said, Billy Joe Sanders? If you gonna talk all that, then you gotta walk all that. You feel me? You really don't know until you get put to the test. Like even for the Quebec, I'm like that. So I got the same mindset. Like I would, to be honest, what Deontay did. I have a two-way thinking about that. When he fired, what's his name? I don't think he should have did it, but it's protocol. The moment somebody throws in the towel, you're fired. It's over. That's resignation, gone. That's what you're asking. So, but to have an excuse behind it, you know what I'm saying? That's just how I feel. The fact that you even threw in the towel, it's over. It's a wrap. I already tell my people, you throw in the towel, that's your last job. I promise you. But if you're gonna save somebody, you're gonna save that man from his life. You know what I'm saying? Hey, it was what it was. You know what I'm saying? I think that the excuses was a bad situation. I think that, like I said, when I fought Povetkin, I fought and I kept seeing this dude with the same energy, but leave basically out on his feet, but come back with the same energy that he started with, but leave out on his feet. So I said, at first I was like, I'm gonna go out. It's gonna be either me or him. But around, I think the 11th or 12th round, I was like the 11th round. I basically pulled it off. He headbutted me and he fell on me. Is what happened.
Yep, that Meldonium ran out and he finally ran out of gas.
and he kept coming back. And even one of the rounds, he walked to my corner. Right?
Yeah,
he was done. I was like, oh, he's gonna quit. He's not gonna make it. But he kept coming back with the same tenacity. And I said, something ain't right about this situation. And I let go of the gas. You feel me? That was when even in the fight, usually my whole mentality is like, you gonna die tonight. That's it. You feel me? Whatever happens, you get cut, you just keep going. It doesn't matter. But for the first time in my life, I said, you know what? You done what you needed to do. You won the battle. You know what I'm saying? There's more battles to win, and it's time to go.
Oh, there's a question on Twitter for you, Mike, from Emily Pan Decker. She wants to know who's your favorite publicist. And she wants to know for sure.
It's probably you. It's probably you. Who is that?
She works with David Benavidez. She works with Boots Ennis. She's done a lot of publicity work for a lot of fighters in the business.
Oh, I'm gonna have to.
You'll recognize her.
Okay. I don't know. I'm gonna have to do my homework now.
Yeah, but I'm gonna replace her anyway. I'm gonna be your Jimmy Hart. You're gonna be my Hulk Hogan. We're going straight to the top.
he said Hulk Hogan. He's trying to get in there like, well, let me tell you something. You know what I'm saying? I don't know, man. It looks like he was having something going off and on.
Bad reception.
Yeah, it was like feedback or something like that. Oh, you still hear me?
Can't understand y'all. No. What the heck?
Oh man, yeah, I don't know what went down there, man. I don't know. Maybe you see if you can check back in.
Well, I love y'all, man. I appreciate y'all. Thank you so much for having me. Let's get this back.
Oh yeah, well, yeah, he had to check out there, man. A little bit of connection issues there at the tail end of it. But big ups to Michael Hunter there for joining us.
He was great. He was great. He was great.
Oh man. See somebody out here talk a little bit of trash talk about we don't have these issues.
Who said that? Who said that?
You know who said that.
Everybody's a critic, huh?
Everybody's a critic, but man, big up to Michael Hunter, man, for joining us for this portion of the podcast, man. Like I said, once again, June 19th, he is going up against Mike Wilson in the WBA heavyweight eliminator bout, part of the card for Teofimo Lopez versus George Kambosos. That will be live on Triller. So definitely be on the lookout for that. And that was great, man.
He was great. He was great. Hey, listen,
you're gonna be the president of the Michael Hunter fan club.
Yes. Listen, I think we asked everything that the people wanted to know, and he did not hold back.
Oh yeah, he definitely didn't hold back. He was talking about the whole ordeal, with Matchroom and specifically the thing there with Philip Hergovich, and like I was bringing up, man. I mean, they were part of that same card there in MGM National Harbor, man, and and it was looking like they were going to match themselves up, but nope. They wanted to go and do this and do that, and then have Michael Hunter fight Sergey Kuzmin and all of that. And I was like, oh man, come on, man. Oh, yo, checking in, man.
Rumor is that Terrence Crawford is negotiating with Manny Pacquiao. It was never real, Daddy.
Let me tell you something, baby. It wasn't real. It wasn't ever going to be real, baby. Oh my God, yo. Oh man.
Hey, yo, how many times can you send somebody to hell in 1 week, yo? So wait, you're telling me, right? He wins arbitration, they sign Jake Paul, and then he makes Manny Pacquiao and Errol Spence.
All within 1 week.
1 week.
And you know what, though? Something tells me that it could drive Mr. Bob or Robert Arum to drinking and saying, I don't really give a fuck. Listen, we had this fight with Josh Taylor and Jose Ramirez. And look, it's an instant classic. Okay, so you could have what's going on with Deontay Wilder. We're not paying any step aside money. Look, we're going to have this fight, right? And Terrence Crawford, look, we can't make any money with Terrence Crawford. I'm sorry. We just can't do it.
Hey, listen, if Bud resigns,
he should
I'm
resign.
a Crawford fan, but no one can say anything.
He should resign.
Why?
because he has the best deal in boxing. He gets paid $4 to $5 million to fight me and you.
No, it's not the best deal in boxing.
It could. I mean, it's like Demetrius Andrade.
It puts a ceiling. Being with Bob is like signing a bullshit record deal, right? You're with a big label, but there's a ceiling on your money. If he goes to PBC, they can start B&B promotions, and whereas though he don't got to pay that 30%, and he's getting points off the package.
Well, I think the real thing with Top Rank is that they don't respect the black dollar. That's all it is. They don't believe in the black dollar. And the sooner Terrence Crawford realizes that, the better off he'll be.
But here's the thing. I mean, he's already seen examples in the past of this happening with Floyd Mayweather. So why is it that he's not going through the same thing? We've had this talk with, Bomac and said, yo, free Terrence Crawford. Just have him get bought out. It shouldn't be, it shouldn't be that much to, get him out of that contract. If it costs $8 million and $1 for Floyd to get out of his, it should be half that.
Don't forget OJ had a girlfriend after he killed Nicole. Okay? So just because they did something to you,
man,
doesn't mean that you feel like that it's gonna happen to you. It is what it is, man.
Bro, listen, re-signing with Top Rank would be absolute lunacy. If you want what you claim you want. It's the equivalent to, you ever had that homie that always be like, where the hoes at? But then he always goes to the spot that has no hoes.
Has zero hoes.
It's like, we know where the hoes is. Like, you know what I mean? We know where they congregate. Why do you keep going to the place that has none?
Be like, where are the hoes? Oh, goodness. And this whole thing about the ordeal with Terrence Crawford and Sean Porter. And it was like two things that were said that kind of nixed this fight and burned it down to pieces. One was from Bruce Trampler talking about, this fight could only be in some place like New York or Las Vegas or something there, and it needs a capacity. When right now, what's going on right now pretty much is you're having the New York Knicks over there in Madison Square Garden.
15,000 fans.
Yeah. So that kind of nixes that particular argument. And then as a follow-up, Bob Arum said once again, we're not making that type of money with Terrence Crawford. Like, how many times does he have to say that about Crawford to make their fans say, look, he's not going to get those fights unless if he leaves?
Because Bob Arum is very smart. What he's done is he's gotten the fans to focus on one guy and one guy only. That's Errol Spence. So as long as Spence versus Crawford is not happening, then Crawford fans can feel like they can blame Al Heyman and PBC. But they don't want to hear about the Thurman fight not happening, the Porter fight not happening, the Ugas fight not happening, the Danny Garcia fight not. They don't want to hear about that. They only feel comfortable blaming Al Heyman for Spence versus Crawford.
Do you know why though? Well, it's a couple different reasons, but let's say for a person that doesn't have any inherent biases, right? It's easy to blame Al, because if you don't want to blame Al, then you have to look at Terrence Crawford for what he really is. Terrence Crawford is a guy that, he'll fight the best, but that's not really what drives him. He wants to guarantee money. And they kind of try to build Terrence Crawford up like this knight of the old code that just wants to smoke. When time after time again, he tells you, "No, I want the money. Oh, I'm not taking no shorts. I want what's guaranteed in my contract. Oh, I ain't taking no 60-40 with Spence." He's letting you know what type of time
Yeah.
he's on,
Yeah.
but everybody keeps pointing at everybody else. And JR, when you just said that to me, you know what got me thinking? Maybe Bob doesn't want to resign him.
Well, that goes into our previous conversation. But if he doesn't want to resign him, or on the flip side, if Terrence Crawford wants to either give a hint that he leaves, then what does that open up the possibility for with Terrence Crawford?
The Montreal Screwjob?
Pretty much so. Want to bring in another guest here that might want to join into this particular conversation, this particular topic, man. Pound for pound sports. What's going on?
How y'all doing, man? I appreciate y'all letting your boy come on to the panel. You know what I'm saying? I hear y'all boys over there cooking. You feel me?
That is a country ass nigga, boy.
Y'all make sure y'all hit that like button. Hit that like button and subscribe.
You can hear the fried catfish and the grits when he talks. You know, you can hear it.
What we talking about, man?
That red beans and rice, buddy. Now we were talking about, of course, this whole thing with the news that came down, before the weekend with Manny Pacquiao and Errol Spence, and how Terrence Crawford looks like he's being left out in the cold with this ordeal happening. But Terrence Crawford is almost looking like he's in a situation where he might like the position that he's in. I'm not sure about that, but it's kind of leaning towards that. But we also talked about, multiple fights falling through for Terrence Crawford, and it was falling through on Top Rank side, not on the other side. So what are your thoughts about the situation with Terrence Crawford, especially right now, as he only has one fight left in his contract with Top Rank?
It's sad because I truly do believe that Terrence Crawford wants to fight the best. He wants to show that he's the best. He wants to become undisputed. He just wants to just I don't know, man. It's sad. I can't even blame Terrence Crawford. I'm blaming Bob. You know what I'm saying? Like, Terrence Crawford's doing what he's supposed to do. He's beating all the guys that they put in front of him. But I mean, Bob, once you go ahead and crack open the wallet, open the budget for Terrence Crawford, start, pay once you pay Keith Thurman, he's available. Pay Ugas.
Pound for pound, real fast, and then I want you to answer this question, right? How many times can a girl come over your house and not give you the pussy before you stop letting her come over?
First of all, one time. That's it.
Exactly. I can imagine you now in the crib, like, we not gonna keep playing these games, man.
That makes sense, and that's why I'm kind of looking at Terrence Crawford. I mean, he didn't go to the fight last night. He hasn't really said anything on social media from what I've seen. I don't know if he said anything. Anybody, give me an update on that?
Yeah, he said something, but it's like, bro, and it's bugging me out because now people are clamoring for a fight. So you want him to fight the undisputed champion of a division he was already undisputed in?
I mean,
really?
There's nobody else that he can fight. Pacquiao's gone. Spence is gone. Ugas, I'm thinking Ugas, Keith Thurman. Keith Thurman said he's probably going to want to tune up. You can go fight Boots and get destroyed that way.
I already wiped this division out. So we want the guy that wiped it out after I wiped it out for us to fight?
I mean, you did the same thing with what's his name, Jeff Horn?
Why not fight Mikey Garcia?
I don't have a problem with that. That's a good fight for me.
Well, my issue with the thing about fighting Mikey Garcia, and that's Mikey Garcia's price tag. Like, if you thought it was going to be difficult to have a fight between Terrence Crawford and Sean Porter because of the price tag, Mikey Garcia has a higher price tag.
Yeah, he does. He just got that $7 million from Jesse Vargas.
Yep. So
who would pay him $7 million?
Eddie the Germ Hearn, baby.
Earn with Hearn. If you got the money, why not spend it?
Hey, yo, man. When I saw that, I was like, yo, I should have learned to box when I was young.
Non-title fight. You got paid $7 million. I mean, you know what? He can go. No, Terrence Crawford can fight Virgil Ortiz.
He paid Tevin over $1 million to fight Joan O'Carroll. He paid Andre over $1 million to fight Luke Keeler.
Luke Keeler. Like I said, if they got the money, they will spend it. You know. Hey, maybe this person is right. Mikey is Mexican. Maybe he said Bob will spend on Mexicans.
Mm-hmm. Maybe.
But I mean, I have to look at how their relationship is now. But I mean, he was able to attend the fight last night. So hey, he was trying to support Ramirez there, and of course, Robert Garcia was Ramirez's trainer. So he was there in attendance last night, for that fight. So I don't know.
Who do you want to see him fight next? I mean, that's for both of y'all. Who do y'all want to see him fight next?
Are we speaking just due to the circumstance or just in general?
In general, it's not going to be Earl. Earl has a fight.
Okay.
So who, ideally, who is the guy, look, I need to see this fight?
For me, I would like to see him fight. I would like to see him fight Keith Thurman, but Keith Thurman, he needs a tune-up. So realistically, no. Now, Boots, I wouldn't mind seeing that.
I want to see him fight Sean Porter. Okay,
I agree.
I think that there's no other type of matchup that people would want to see Terrence Crawford in outside of a guy that that's been a two-time world champion. That's been a tough fight for anybody that he's fought. And if Terrence Crawford gets the win and gets the win impressively, that boosts up his stock.
Will it though? Will it?
I think it would, especially if you're able to stop him.
Yeah, I mean everybody.
He hasn't beaten an elite. All right, so has Bud ever beat a top 5 welterweight? Or anybody that was currently in the top 10 in the welterweight division outside of Jeff Horn, who, come on, yo.
I like Jose Benavidez. I thought that was a good win.
Yeah, but was he in the top? I said, was he in the top 10?
Yeah,
you mean the dude with the limp leg, that guy?
I mean, let's be real. He was undefeated, though.
Did you see his leg though?
I seen his leg, but let's be real. He was undefeated. Bud is he was facing people that were undefeated. Not all of them, but he was undefeated. Jeff Horn was undefeated.
Yeah, Leonard Bundu was undefeated too, my nigga.
What's that guy who ain't that good? What's his name that Terrence Crawford beat?
Mean Machine was undefeated.
African guy? What's the African guy?
Julius Ndongo was undefeated.
Yeah, Ndongo. Good to you?
Oh, we got an echo.
Is Julius Ndongo good to you?
Julius Ndongo is on my pound for pound list right now. No, I'm just playing. He's decent, man. I'm not trying to, I'm just.
Did you say Julius Ndongo is decent?
I'm trying to give him some credit, bro. It's a former world champion.
That good, man. From what we found out, the guy is not that good.
I'm a unified champion, though.
How many times can the clock be right in one day that's broken?
Twice.
Thank you. Whoever answered that. 2. That's how he got 2 belts. I mean, he deserved to get the belts against the competition. What's the name of the guy who just fought yesterday? The Scottish or whatever that guy. What's his name?
Josh Taylor.
Josh Taylor. Josh Taylor is the best out of the bunch. We have to give him that.
Yeah.
But the bunch isn't that good though. Terrence Crawford fighting him means nothing. Terrence Crawford seems to fight individuals, in my opinion, who he is technically, skillfully, and bet wise, he has the upper hand on beating. When is
Yeah,
he
but
going to
Terrence Crawford is going to have the upper hand against a lot of guys because he's one of the best fighters in the world. You're making the same argument that you make when you try to talk shit about Canelo. When you are the best guy in the world, it's kind of hard for you to find matchups where you're not favored.
Hey,
Sean Porter. Sean Porter. What you said, Jameer?
I said, you ever noticed that 140 is always getting unified? It's consistently always getting unified or undisputed. Like, it's always the divisions that are devoid of talent that get unified fast.
Very quickly. Can I answer Matthew Brown really quick?
Go ahead.
Matt, if he fought Sean Porter right now, we would have a legitimate reason to say you fought one of the best welterweights in the division. As it currently stands, we cannot say that because I'm tired of repeating all these same points. But at 140, he did something that was special. But guess what? What's the guy? Tim Bradley's resume at 140 was better than his, but Tim Bradley didn't do as much on paper. Danny Garcia was better than his, but Danny Garcia didn't do as much as him on paper. If you look at
Josh Taylor has a better resume.
Yep, Taylor does have a better resume.
Mike. Josh Taylor has a better resume than Terrence Crawford.
Say it again to me. I didn't hear you.
I'm a Terrence Crawford fan. Josh Taylor has a better resume than Terrence Crawford.
Exactly, and Terrence Crawford is better than Josh Taylor. How does that work?
At some point, everybody has to address the elephant in the room. It's Bob. Bob is the issue. Either get Bud the fights or let him go.
It's worked out for Josh Taylor.
Yeah, but I mean, yeah, you're right.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, but the thing with Taylor is though he wasn't with Top Rank during the time he wasn't with the World Boxing Super Series. He had just recently got signed. So, but that was his intention in order to make that undisputed, super lightweight title fight. But he knew what he had to do in order to make that fight happen. The question is Terrence Crawford willing to do what he needs to do in order to make the fights happen that he supposedly wants? Because right now, I feel like I'm still leaning towards him ending up fighting Virgil Ortiz.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but what do you mean is Terrence Crawford going to do what he needs to do? He can't help it if Bob doesn't think that the fight doesn't sell on pay-per-view. The fight is.
Well, let me tell you something, Daddy. Stop re-signing with the man.
That is true. You gotta just stop giving him contracts to sign stuff, dog. We gonna sign. Stop giving it to him.
Yeah, that's the thing. You got to be able to put yourself in the positions that have you in the best position that you need to be. You got other guys within Top Rank that can get those fights that they want to get. Shoot, you had Jamal. I said wanted to get. So, hey, what it is in that case, but Terrence Crawford, with the overall momentum that he has, with the titles that he was able to get at 135 and 140, now you're at 7, and all the top guys on 147 are at one particular area. So, what is your guy doing in order to make those fights happen? Are they making? Because if you're able to have, Bob Arum go ahead and work a 2-fight deal and arrange it financial and with Deontay, that's something. How come he can't for you, Terrence Crawford? That's the question.
Does Terrence Crawford care about, I guess, being undisputed at 147? Because he's already been undisputed at 140. At this point, especially, how old is Terrence Crawford? Like
33.
33. He knows he's showing chinks in the armor every time he fights, right? So how about you guys? How about y'all pay me $4 or $5 million to fight guys like Amir Khan, Kell Brook, and Green Machine? You feel what I'm saying? Like, I'm
Julius
not taking a
Indongo.
risk. And Julius Indongo, like, there's no risk. I'm still I'm able to stack up all this money. They got to have some kind of clause in their contract where if Bob doesn't deliver on a big fight, Terrence Crawford gets even more money. So guess what? All the pressure's on Bob. Bob was the one up there crying, "Oh, I'm losing money." Yeah, okay, well, do your damn job. That's it. If you can't afford this dude, if this guy supposedly is hard to promote, he can't sell, then let him go. Quit losing money on him.
Cut your losses straight up.
That's it. That's it. He's 30-something years old. Whoever gets that belt between him and Spence, they're going to move up. You're going to be able to get your Bob WBO belt back anyway. It's not that big of a deal. It ain't like you got the welterweight division. You don't have anybody at welterweight. But he wants to hold on to that belt to try to stop them from getting undisputed. That's it.
And that's looking, right at this point with that. So that's why you end up having these big events with Spence and Manny August and Vegas, while Terrence Crawford is going to be. I mean, don't be surprised if they actually have a fight with Terrence Crawford and it ends up being in that Virgin Hotels arena or whatever it is with 12 or 1,500 fans. Like, come on, man.
But you know
what?
That
can't happen.
I'm okay with if Bud doesn't care about it, he hasn't said nothing. I'm not going to keep on trying to defend a man that's not defending himself. It is what it is. You getting your money, you getting $4 or $5 million. Hey, if you're happy, hey, cool. Do whatever. But bottom line is, I want to see Bud facing Keith Thurman. I want to see him taking on Sean Porter. I want to see him taking on those big guys. But if he's not really tripping about it, like he said, he's already a Hall of Famer. At this point, let me get my money.
Yeah,
that's it. I'm good.
Yeah, you said he could stop right now, and he's a Hall of Famer. So it almost looks like he's very content with where he's at this particular point of his professional career. And I mean, that could say a lot for some people, but others that, follow Terrence Crawford, they say like, oh, but, all these other guys ain't stepping up. But we know what the situation is while he's there under top rank. So they can't necessarily argue that. Next week, man, we got like a couple fights coming up. Devin Haney, Jorge Linares. He got Nordino Bali, Nonito Donaire. He got Subriel Matias against Badrzan Jukanbaya. Yeah, I was able to say that without much practice. And we got, Gary Antoine, the last Russell against Giovanni Santiago. Yes, that's Giovanni Santiago that fought Adrian Broner. And, we got, an interview with Gary Antoine Russell that was conducted earlier today. That'll be, available at a later time so that y'all be able to listen to it. But it's a good amount of action there for Memorial Weekend, man. Hey, I know if we had one of my other guests here for this particular podcast, he would probably have gotten on me for not going to maybe it's Miami or Atlanta or New York for those particular quote unquote events that happen over the weekend. But nah, I'm staying in and I'm watching boxing. It's a boxing night next Saturday night. But anything y'all looking out for next weekend?
I'll let y'all go. Go ahead.
I want to know what's up with that Haney card. It looks trash.
Oh my God.
That's
what?
that's the worst card of the year.
You think it's worse than the Canelo? You think it's worse than the Canelo undercard?
I've never heard of one person on that handy card. I have not heard of one person on that card.
You heard of Canelo on the Canelo card, huh?
Chantel Cameron versus Melissa Hernandez. Martin Ward against Zinga Fusile. Not Futile, but Fusile, right? And main event there, Devin Haney versus Jorge Linares.
Of the year.
Oh my God. That's probably because, Devin Haney's getting paid so much money. He commands a lot, man. And he deserves it.
Hey, and I mean, Ben Davidson is there staying in Vegas for another week. So he's still in the bubble or whatever it is, so, hey.
Are they fighting in the same place or where are they fighting at?
Nah, it's a different arena, man. This is a different arena. They call it Michelob Ultra Arena. So, so let's be that. And like I said, hold on, what was that?
No, I was about to say, let's be real. If Devin Haney knocks out Linares, does that send a message? Like, what type of statement would be made from that? He would
get more buzz for being able to finish Jorge Linares, but as far as like his overall standing in the lightweight division goes, I don't think it really moves the needle that much. If people aren't really gravitating towards him and demanding him to fight the likes of a Teofimo Lopez, Vasyl Lomachenko, or Ryan Garcia, or anybody like that, then he'll still be at the same position that he's been, before. I mean, he's could have had fights against, Ryan Garcia, but that didn't happen. He could have had a fight against, like multiple fights there within the lightweight division he could have had, and they didn't do it. And of course, we had this whole thing about him and the supposed mandatory Javier Fortuna, and Fortuna was like, yeah, but no. And so his ship sailed for that fight. Like, he was supposed to fight Fortuna. Mm-hmm. And you see how that went. So
I'm just tired of excuses from everybody at 135. Tank over here going around each division collecting WBA regular belts. You know what I'm saying? Ryan Garcia, hey, he's got his situation going on, whatever that is. You know what I'm saying? Teofimo, think he's the king of everything. And hey, all respect to Teofimo because he beat Lomachenko. You can't get mad at him. He beat him. You know what I'm saying? But now it makes it a lot more difficult to make fights. And I think these guys, they're all stars, but it's like, I don't want to take the risk and fight this guy and take a loss. We don't care if you lose in boxing, bro. Like some people do, but be real. The real warriors, all the greats, they got losses, bro. Just because you lost don't mean you're not a good fighter. Everybody's scared to take that risk.
Well, I mean, you got this whole thing about what is this? Potentially Ryan Garcia in a position to fight Rolly Romero. Like,
man, come on, bro.
I don't know. I don't know about all that. But the thing about it is they have him as the interim champion in the WBC. So they're gonna try to enforce that whole thing with Devin Haney and Ryan Garcia. So sooner or later, that fight is gonna have to happen regardless. And with that being said, now you got Javier Fortuna going up against Jojo Diaz, and so and that's gonna be at lightweight. So if Fortuna ends up losing to Diaz, that's his spot gone. So I'm like, yeah, y'all got to figure out a way to sort all that out, man. That's just not, not cool, but it is what it is sometimes in the sport of boxing, and the business sometimes gets in the way. But back into that card, that's going to be Carson, California, man. You got, like I said, Antoine the Last Russell against Giovanni Santiago and Subio Matias against Jukabayev there at super lightweight. So those are two fights that, it probably end up being good, man. And I think it could end up being similar to that card with Narian and the Heartbreaker Figueroa. Like all three of those fights were really good. And we might get the same thing here with these 3 fights. Nordine Ubali against Nonito Donaire. I mean, we're going to see if Donaire still can pull another one out of his hat in order to become a world champ, But Ubali, I don't know about Ubali's style. Ubali's style might be a little bit of an issue for him here in this particular instance, But maybe he'll be able to pull it off. But, hey, Matt, you got any thoughts on that card?
It's going to be a great card. I'm a little upset that it's starting so late, 10 o'clock. So hopefully my old ass could stay up to watch the entire card.
Man, I'm older than you. Stop it.
No, but 10 o'clock, that's rough. That's the start time. And you're going to have your little fluff and your packages in between the fights. I'm not feeling this at all, man. Like, I understand they want the West Coast people to watch the card. Apparently, this is a West Coast card, but they should start this earlier. So now I got to sit through this fucking Devin Haney card, and hopefully that doesn't put me to sleep. And then I got to stay up late for this Showtime card. Now, when they only get 100,000 people watching, I don't want to hear no complaints, because this is why.
I mean, hey, that's one thing that they do have to work on is maximizing the amount of viewership. But, you got to have good enough start times. Like, you could have had this at, 6 p.m. Pacific time or something like that. Well, yeah. I mean, it's the weekend. You can have it at 5 p.m. Pacific time. Have it at prime time, 8 o'clock, on a Saturday. Like, I don't see what the issue would be, for that. I mean, shoot. Yesterday, we had the other card start at 8 o'clock Eastern time. Now, it kind of stretched to about 11 o'clock still, but...
Yeah, because Mark Kriegel had to talk. That was ridiculous. I was hoping that card to be over by 10.
Yeah. So, I mean, the thing about it is that I think they'll be able to handle this thing here at Dignity Health Sports Park in Carson, California. I think they'll be able to handle it a little bit well. But, yeah, that could stretch out till about, 1 a.m. Eastern time there. That might be a little bit of a stretch. So
I'm just going to record it and watch it the next day.
It'll be on YouTube. It'll be on YouTube.
Yeah, true. We'll see. Yeah, highlights will be there, but I'll be on the lookout for of course, Gary Antoine Russell versus Santiago Matias versus Jukambaya Vibali versus Donaire. That is the card for next week, and we'll be able to analyze it on the next podcast of the Boxing Source Radio Show. I thank everybody here for joining in. Big ups to Michael, the Bounty Hunter, for taking the time to join us. That was some great content there. And we found out that we have now a newly formed club that has been made on the podcast today. There is a Michael Hunter fan club, and there is a president by the name of Matthew Brown.
Yes, we need a rallying cry for Mike.
Yeah, we gotta start this up, man. So be on the lookout for the banner for the Michael Hunter fan club. We're gonna push out because we got him, out and about, and he's gonna, like I said, he's gonna show out there against Mike Wilson in that Triller card on June 19th. So y'all watch out for that. But we're gonna have more here on the Boxing Source. Wanted to, also get a couple of more guests on here over the next few weeks. So y'all be on the lookout for that. But once again, I thank everyone for taking the time to be part of this particular podcast. And like I say, at the end of every show, folks, the point of boxing is to hit and not get hit, not to stand and trade. On that note, folks, I'm out.
Bob
Have a good evening.
Baby.
All right now.